Hey there, hope you're doing well. And today we're going to be talking about Ned rig fishing. I'm going to break this up into 3 different videos. We're going to do one on the jig heads that I pick for it, one on the baits, and then we're going to also do one on kind of fishing it. So today we're going to talk about picking the right Ned rig jig head. So there's 3 kinds that I typically go and use. We're going to start with, let's go with the old tried and true. This is a Hayabusa. It's a brush easy. And what this is a jig head that it's got a nice size 1.0 hook. You can see there. It's pretty, it's a little softer hook. It's a very made for finesse fishing. So you want to make sure you pick the right rod, reel, and all that with it. You can see here I have one of the finesse TRDs rigged up with it. Let's see if I can get a better picture there for you. It's got 2 brush guards on it on either side, so there's 2 little monofilament guards. These are nice because it helps when you cast around different structure. It could be rocks, thin grass. Kind of just gives you that little bit of protection, lets it ride over top of it. It's a 1/10 ounce head, this guy. It comes in a 16th and a couple smaller sizes as well. This is my go-to when I'm catching fish that are kind of suspended. So if I want to make a cast over a group of fish that are in, say, 8 foot of water or 10 foot of water, this gives it that nice slow, natural gliding action as it falls to the bottom. A lot of times this bait, when you're using that jig head, is getting picked up before it ever makes it to the bottom. It's a neat little head. I did really well years ago at Cherokee Lake, if you guys remember that tournament. I was pitching this Ned rig around the cracks in there, catching those big spawning smallmouth. So it's got a close place in my heart because of that. It's just a good all-around bait. Next, we're going to go to when I like to fish a little bit heavier. If I have a spot that I need to get that bait down, I want it digging around in the bottom, that's when I pick up the Z-Man. It's called the Ned Locks. You guys can see this one. It's got this nice, it puts some of the lead instead of all being in the head. So like this is a 1/5 ounce. They may also make a 1/6, but this is their big one in the Ned Locks. Put some of the lead on the shank, and what that does is helps hold the bait up as well. So it kind of locks it on there. You can see compared to the, let's see how we hold these ones here. These are the 2 heads. So that's the Brush Easy by Hayabusa. That's the Ned Locks, and I'll show you one more time real quick up close with the 2 of them. That's got the lead guard there, and those are actually angled up, so that way when you push your bait on there, get that Z-Man bait all stuck on there, it stays. You can add a dab of glue and you will never lose it. The Hayabusa here, we got those little barbs that hold it up. Same thing, put a little glue on there, it'll never come off. But this has a smaller hook in it. It's a size 1 versus the 1.0, so it's a little bit smaller. It's got a little less gap in it, but it fits that finesse TRD perfect. So when that hits the bottom, you can see it just sits there and it'll kind of bounce around and look real natural. It's got a real flat head on there, so it's made to stand straight up and down. But I like that when I'm fishing a little deeper. It also has a heavier hook in it. So where that Brush Easy, you can just kind of reel down and pull into them, which is great in certain situations. This has that heavier hook. So you can see when you pull on that thing, you can't really move it a whole lot, which is good and bad. So it's good if you're catching big fish, you don't want that hook opening up, maybe you're leaning into them a little bit harder, trying to pull them away from some cover, or they're down in those rocks, and a lot of times, like Oneida Lake, for example, those fish are down in there, so you want to get them away from that, and the zebra mussel is quick, so that might be a situation where I'd pick up that Ned Locks if I thought they were down in those rocks and trying to get them away. This next one is the new, it's the football Neds. This came out at ICAST this past year. This is a 1/4 ounce. This is the heaviest one they make. It comes in a 3/16 and 1/8 as well. You can see this is got the baby goat on there. You could also put a TRD. We'll talk about that in a future episode. But this is really cool. This is made for throwing across rocks. So like when you're throwing there, this thing's gonna rock and roll right over top of that stuff. Won't get hung up as much as just like a typical Ned rig head would. It just comes through really nice. And this has got, I believe it's got a 1.0 hook in it. Let me double check that to make sure I'm not giving you bad information. Yes, it is a 1.0 hook. So a little bit bigger than the Ned Locks, which I like. If you can compare it there, it's just a hair bigger, fits nice. Let me pull one out here for you. This bait keeper, it has one of the welded on, just like metal spikes. So when you put that on there, it grabs it really well. It doesn't pull off there. Really holds that elastic on there. You don't need any super glue with that. It's good all around setup for that. So that's a new one that I'm really looking forward to putting a lot of time in with this summer. It's got a good hook in it. You see, you pull on it a little bit. It might be a tad softer than that Ned Locks hook, but not much. It's got that light enough wire that it'll be easy to penetrate the fish's mouth. I think that's going to sneak up on a lot of people, and people are really going to like this Ned Locks football head this year. The next one I'll show you is the Pro Shrooms. This one comes in all sorts of sizes. It comes from real small and it gets really big. We started at 1/10, 6/5, quarter, and actually a third. So if you need to get that bait down, say up on the Thousand Islands, you're fishing in that current on the St. Lawrence River, it can be 3-4 miles an hour, and you gotta get that bait down 30 feet, 40 feet, that's what you're gonna wanna pick up. So this actually has a 2.0 hook in it. So it's a little bigger hook. I won't as often pair that with the Finesse TRD. You can see the difference there is the hooks it's bigger. So that's where I'll put it on a lot of times, that big TRD. Same thing, it's got a good hook in it. You pull on that, it's not gonna flex out on you. It also has that metal barb. Let me pull that out, just like that Finesse Footballs does. We're a little stuck, but that's all right. Give me one sec. Should have pulled him out beforehand, I guess. But it's worth taking this look at. So it's set up just like that football Ned's, where it kind of sticks down there, it's just welded on, and it holds that elastic bait right to the top. And like that 2.0, I like just for that big TRD because it's a 4-inch bait versus the 3-inch other guys. So it's just good all around, worth taking a look at. If you have any questions, you can put those in the comments below. I can rig them up and show you some other ways. The next one we're gonna take a look at is the different TRD baits themselves. And then I'll show you how I rig them and which one I would pick for each specific bait as well. You can kind of play around with some of these like the football Ned's head. That one's gonna be perfect on a couple of the baits you use, on the Finesse TRD. You can put it on the baby goat like I have here. The TRD ticklers, good for that too. So I'm excited to show you. Please do me a favor, and if you can like and subscribe, that helps.